Hi, welcome back to The Scent Advocate. Tonight is the third video in a series of fragrances that are refreshing green springtime favorites from my collection that feel like a breath of fresh air. I will have 6 for tonight, but be sure to stay tuned until the end because the last fragrance is the newest addition to my collection. I was really surprised to find it. I'd read so much about it and I'd never sampled it, so this was a blind buy, but I was pretty sure based on the notes and all the years of research I'd done on it that I would love it. And I'll give you a hint. It's from a popular house among niche fragrances, and its primary note is prickly pear. If you know, you know. If you don't, you definitely want to stick around until the end. Okay, let's jump right into the first fragrance for the evening. It's Basilico and Fellini by Vilhelm Parfumeries. This is a 2017 release. 100 mils goes for $295. And the noses behind this are Jérôme Epinay, Bertrand Duchefort, and Marc-Antoine Cortucciato. And Basilico is basil in Sicilian. It's Italian, same thing in this case. They are two distinct languages. I just want to point that out. They're very, very different. Some people say Sicilian is a dialect of Italian. I respectfully disagree. I think they're different languages, but they do share some words, as many European nations, I'll say instead of countries because they are part of the same country. Many European nations and cultures do, even though they're distinct, and this is the perfect example. So this is a smaller, this obviously isn't 100 mil, but I was able to score this 10 mil. I think it's 10 mil, it may be 15. A while ago, and I absolutely love it. And I've been just, testing and testing. I do intend to add a full bottle. I really do love this stuff. The notes in here are basil, dragon fruit, fig, violet, green grass, hay, and vetiver. It is beautiful. So this makes me think of, it's very basil forward, but wearable. This makes me think of Sunday sauce. What is Sunday sauce? If you are Sicilian, it is the pasta sauce you make on a Sunday, which takes longer than a sauce you would make during the week, which is often called a marinara sauce because it's not made with meat. But a Sunday sauce is. And so it takes longer to prepare. There's sausages, there's meatballs, sometimes you put like I don't know, you put sometimes like some kind of beef in there, you can put pork ribs, many different things, all different kinds of meat, but the bottom line is it cooks slower, longer, and it is a much richer, heavier sauce. And that is a Sunday sauce. And of course, you eat it on Sunday. You can have it other days of the week, especially leftovers from Sunday sauce. You can eat throughout the week. It's great. But that's what it is. And of course, like all sauce, it goes on pasta. So I see myself cooking, making the sauce on a Sunday with family around me. And it already smells like basilico in the house because I have a big pot of it in the window in my kitchen, and I put fresh basilico on my sauce, so that is part of why it already smells like that. And this just feels like that smells. I'm not saying you smell like pork ribs or macaroni, no, but there's an experience here, right? This isn't just a fragrance you wear. This is savory. It is not sweet in any way. It's green and comforting because to me, this says Sunday cooking with the family, a relaxed day, a time for togetherness. That's what this is. It is Basilico and Fellini, by the way, of course, referring to Federico Fellini, the Italian filmmaker. There we go. Moving on, we have The only Amouage in my collection, it is Meander. This is by Mackenzie Riley, the nose behind it. This is a 2020 release, 100 mil. It's an EDP, and I think I paid about $300 for this. But I think you can get this a little less expensively on some of the discount fragrance sites. But do be careful if you're not going with a reputable one. You don't want anything that is not authentic, unless you do, in which case you do you. I'm just saying that buyer beware. Okay, so the notes in here: olibanum, carrot, black pepper, pink pepper, aura, cypriol, narcissus, rose, sandalwood, vetiver, etc. But to me, this is a soft, sweet, almost fruity green fragrance. In the opening, it's got almost a carbohydrate feel to it, almost like a pie dough, a homemade butter crust, the crust of a pie. And you know, when it comes out of the oven and it's cooled a little bit, but there's a piece, oops, that falls off. It just crumbles off. And what are you going to do? You have to eat it, right? So there it goes. And imagine you're eating that big piece of pie crust that broke off the edge of the pie plate while you're standing in front of your open kitchen window, and herbs from your deck herb garden, or just kind of aromas from that, are wafting into your kitchen. And this is what you get. Meander by Amouage. Beautiful stuff. I haven't really hit it off with any other Amouage fragrances. There are some that I do like a lot and I'm still testing, but that one was an instant love for me. The others, they take some work. I want to love Amouage. I definitely couldn't get there with some of the others that are very, very popular. But I'm still learning more about the fragrance. Okay. Next, we have Tokiwa by Strangers Parfumerie. This is a new bottle style. Usually they're more squared. This is still a 30 mil. This is an EDP, and the nose behind this is Prin Lam Rose. It's a 2025 release. It goes for about $100, so a little bit more, a little bit of an uptick in price, about $10 from what I was paying for these fragrances in a different bottle 2 years ago, a year ago, approximately. So the notes are, as always, written on the bottle. So we've got corn, wildflowers, grass, pistachio, moss, roasted seaweed, spinach, grapefruit, ambrette, etc. In the opening, the corn is strong. Can you imagine? Corn in a perfume? I couldn't, but this does it, and it is a stunner. And you know, I like corn, okay? I'm not like a corn fan. Fan of corn, fan o' corn. Not me. I don't hate corn. I'm like a philosophical problem with corn like I do with mayonnaise. That's more visceral for me, by the way. Like the mayonnaise revolt is a serious problem for me. But I'm not that way with corn. I just don't care for it. Like if corn's out, I'm not going to reach for it. I digress. This smells amazing. So the most beautiful corn could ever smell captured in a fragrance is right here. So imagine you are at a farm market, you know, when they have the corn out and you go and you see all these people pulling the husks off of it, and they put the husks aside, I guess, because the husks and the silk make the produce way more. So they want to take it off, I guess, or maybe just too much trash and they want to just leave the trash there. Maybe think you can compost it or something. I don't know. That's not the point. The point is the fresh corn sweetness that you get from freshly husked corn is the opening of this. Stunning. Again, that carbohydrate kind of starchy feel is really strong. So it's warm, cozy. The ambrette combined with that corn really offset the strong greens in this. So my image for this fragrance is I'm in a beautiful like field on a picnic and I'm eating corn. I'm eating that corn. I took the corn home after having husked it at the farm market. I boiled it and then I brought it out, and it's butter. There's butter involved. And butter goes on the corn, and you're eating it and it's all wonderful. And the greenery around you smells amazing. It's summer, but it's not too hot. And there are wildflowers everywhere. And for dessert, you're having pistachio butter on a shortbread cookie. How's that for amazing? That's Tokiwa by Strangers Parfumerie. Oh yeah, it's good stuff. All right, moving on. We've got, let's see here. Okay. This is Pomod'Oro by Omni Profumi. This is a 100 ml eau de parfum. I don't have the release year on this, and I think I paid about $200 for it, but had a little bit of trouble tracking down the price. So the notes in this are tomato leaf, anise, basil, carrot, licorice, hyacinth, oak moss, vetiver, and patchouli. You guys, it's got oak moss in it. Need I say more? If you don't love oak moss, that's okay, because it just is ever so slight in here. This doesn't jump out at you like an 80s sheep with the oak moss. Very subtle. The thing that jumps out at you is the softness of the licorice, and and the anise. And it's that herbal sweetness, almost a basilico, but not quite. Very much that anise. Finocchio is also, it's like a fennel. In Sicilian, we say finocchio. It's like that. And the tomato leaf is not sharp at all, not even a little. So what I get from this, all right, you're somewhere but in the Mediterranean, but you're on a farm eating dinner outdoors on one of those long kind of rustic reclaimed Italian barnwood tables. Got to be an Italian barnwood table. And there's a bunch of people and the food is great, but you've already eaten, and now it's time for biscotti and maybe some weak tea, right? The star of the show is the biscotti and the surroundings. And there's grapes out there on the table, but you're really just interested in the biscotti, and you dunk it in your weak tea and you taste it and you look up and you lovingly glance at your significant other sitting on the other side of the table, and you breathe in the fresh air, and all is right with the world. That is Pomodoro by Omni Profumi. Check it out. All right, now we move on. I got some suggestions for this one, and I think they were right. So I put it into the lineup for these beautiful, soft, comforting greens for spring, and it is Philosykos by Diptyque. You had to know that one was coming, right? What about fig? What about fig? Heck yeah, what about fig? I love figs. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Let me find my fig notes here. All right. This is a 1996 release and still going strong. This goes for about $260. Why? Because this is an EDP. Not all of the bottles from Diptyque that kind of look like this are EDPs. They have quite a few wonderful EDTs. So this being the more concentrated fragrance, it goes for a little bit more money. This is 75 ml, and the nose behind it is Olivia Jacobatti. In here we have fig, and more fig, and some coconut in a nutshell. In a coconut shell. Okay. This is a beautiful young green fig, offset by a very subtle, dusty, dry coconut. The person wearing this is just astute, very well groomed. Think of an evening out in the Mediterranean. That's where you wear this, you know? So maybe you wear this out to a restaurant. I don't know, in somewhere in Italy, you know, on vacation. That's or maybe Greece. You know, it's got that feel to it. You know, wherever you are, it's on some cliffside, at some cliffside restaurant with the roaring ocean, you know, maybe in Positano, and the roaring ocean beneath you as you're, you know, sipping on your I don't know, amazing Super Tuscan. And this is what you want to smell like. By the way, this is very unisex. I think, you know, most unisex fragrances lean one way or the other. This one definitely is a true unisex. This is great for anyone. Very fresh, very green. Fig. If you don't like figs, don't do a blind buy on this one. It's a very nicely done fig in that the coconut, like I said, tempers any potential sharpness, but it's definitely a fig. Beautiful stuff. Philosykos by Diptyque. And next, that's it. Last one is the final selection, the newest fragrance in my collection. I got this, yesterday? This was a blind buy for me. I had read so much about it and was so curious, and then I just happened across it, and I couldn't believe I found it available, and I grabbed it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Ilio, EDT, by Diptyque. This is a 2021 release. This goes for about $190. It is 75 ml. This is prickly pear, iris, bergamot, and jasmine. This fragrance, like I said, was a blind buy. I was not sure what I was getting, but I couldn't imagine prickly pear would be that bad, and everything else sounded great, especially that bergamot iris. I really go for that. You know, I love iris, and the bergamot is such a sophisticated take on a citrus. It just really, really called out to me. Jasmine I can take if it's tempered by iris, which this is. Oh boy. So this is all the notes that I just explained. However, this translates to me, this smells like how it feels to get a cool, not cold, a cool drink of water when you are extremely thirsty, right? It is all that you want and all that you need in that moment. And you are refreshed, body and soul. It enlivens you, it invigorates you, it satisfies a very basic need in you physically, and the preoccupation that being thirsty creates mentally. All of a sudden, you're balanced. Your senses are renewed. You rediscover your surroundings because now you're not distracted by your thirst anymore. You're completely refreshed. It is absolutely satisfying, completely and totally satisfying. That's how this smells. It's fresh, slightly green, very clean. It's aquatic, but not cologne. I know, cologne's got its own special place in the world of perfumery, but this ain't it. This is the quench of green and fruit and water. It's pure, it's simple, and it's completely perfect in its balance. This is one of the best things I've ever smelled for summer, and it is Ilio by Diptyque. So now, did you guess? Did you know that's what it was? I'm guessing no, but I think I gave you guys some good hints. Let me know in the comments if you guessed. And also, if you are not yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider subscribing. We have a great group of folks and everyone just kind of chimes in and I read every single comment. Sometimes I do want to say that for reasons I can't figure out, the software doesn't point out a response to a comment. I have to figure that out. So if I don't go in and deliberately look, I won't see a comment. Other times, if it's a brand new comment, I get like an alert for it, but follow-up comments, I don't. That's disappointing. I have to figure out how to fix that because sometimes that delays my response, but I do respond to every single comment. And I certainly read every single one, and I'm so grateful for everyone's support and kind words, and you know, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.